Last year in November, Solana's Phantom Wallet flipped the Coinbase app by downloads in both the Google Play as well as the Apple App Stores. This suggests that 2025 could be the year of on-chain crypto, and Solana is ground zero. The only problem is that Sol's price hasn't been performing nearly as well as you'd expect given this bullish backdrop. At the same time, so-called Solana killers such as Sui have been surging higher. And that's why today we're going to bring you up to speed on what Solana has been up to. I'll take a close look at Sol's price action, assess its upcoming milestones, and explain why it could be the top crypto of 2025. Stay tuned. Before we begin, it's important to note that nothing in this video is financial advice. It's just educational content intended to inform you about what's been going on with Solana. I'll also note that many members of the Coin Bureau team hold Sol as part of their personal crypto portfolios, along with ETH and so-called Solana killers such as Sui. So this means you can rest assured we will be as objective as possible, as always. If you want to know which other cryptos we hold and which ones we're accumulating or considering, you can find out by becoming a member of the Coin Bureau Club. It's over here where we also do deep dives into small cap altcoins every week. The link will be down in the description. Now, the last time we covered Solana was almost 3 months ago in early November. Back then, we predicted that Sol would experience a massive breakout because of the US election, and that's exactly what happened. What we didn't anticipate, though, was what came in the weeks that followed. November was extremely bullish for Sol, and not just because pro-crypto candidate Donald Trump won the election. First, Coinbase launched CBBTC on Solana, making it possible for Bitcoin whales to use their BTC in DeFi in Solana's ecosystem. You can refer to our Bitcoin DeFi collateral video for more info about that. Then, PayPal's PYUSD stablecoin integrated Layer 0 to make it easy to move PYUSD between Ethereum and Solana. For context, PayPal is explicitly looking to use Solana for payments with PYUSD. Consider that one of PayPal's subsidiaries launched cross-border stablecoin settlements shortly after. Speaking of stablecoins, Sky, formerly known as MakerDAO, launched its USDS stablecoin, formerly known as DAI, on Solana. For reference, USDS is the largest decentralized stablecoin by market cap. A Sky co-founder, Rune Christensen, is so bullish on Solana that he once wanted Sky to create its own SVM chain. But what about Sui, I hear you ask? Well, Sui actually experienced its first outage around the time that all these bullish announcements were coming out about Solana. If you're wondering how the two cryptos compare, then you can refer to our video right over here, which has a comparison for you. Now, the most bullish announcement for Solana came on November 21st, when SEC Chairman Gary Gensler formally announced that he would be stepping down at the end of January, something that's likely already happened by the time you see this video. The result was multiple spot Solana ETF filings. For those unaware, there's a good chance that a spot Solana ETF could be approved as soon as March, specifically March 11th, which is when the SEC is expected to make decisions about the first spot ETF applications. It goes without saying that a spot Solana ETF approval would be very bullish for Sol's price. Meanwhile, the Memecoin hype had degens trading on Solana so much that Phantom wallets actually flipped Coinbase in both app stores. This might have something to do with all the headlines about Memecoin traders making millions on Solana. But of course, everything changed in December. By the way, if you're liking what you're hearing, then let us know by smashing that like button and subscribe to the channel and ping the notification bell as well to make 100% sure you don't miss our next crypto update. Now, on the first day of December, XRP flipped Sol by market cap, taking Solana out of the spotlight as far as investments go. A few days later, reports started emerging that the SEC would be unlikely to approve the spot Solana ETF applications and could even reject them all before Trump got into office. Meanwhile, Austin Federa, the head of strategy at the Solana Foundation, announced that he would be stepping down. Funnily enough, Apto's co-founder Mo Sheikh also stepped down a few weeks later, creating FUD for yet another Solana killer, which is what Aptos could be. FYI, we also did an Aptos vs Solana video. You can find that right in the description as well. Anyways, in retrospect, the catalyst that kicked off Sol's downturn was the Hayley Welsh, aka the Hawk Tour girl, launching her Memecoin and allegedly dumping on all the fans who bought it. Combine this with the hawkishness from the Federal Reserve, and you've got quite a recipe for a serious Sol correction. Pretty soon, Sol was basically back at the same price it was trading at during our previous update. But while the headlines were getting more and more bearish, Solana's fundamentals continued to get more and more bullish. For starters, Solana onboarded more developers than Ethereum for the first time ever. To put things into perspective, Ethereum has been the top destination for new developers for the past 8 years. Trump also announced that David Sachs would be his, quote, crypto czar. In other words, the person who will oversee the Trump administration's crypto strategy and apparently also its AI policy. Not only is David a Solana bull, but he's also an ex-PayPal executive. Recall that PayPal is using Solana for payments. On that note, Solana added $1 billion of stablecoins in December, according to DeFi Llama, mostly USDC. Logically, this suggests that lots of capital is moving into Solana's ecosystem. As you'll see, Solana's TVL has been rising, even though Sol's price has been falling, foreshadowing a massive breakout for Sol. First, though, some more FUD. Earlier this month, it started becoming clear that AI agents on Base were starting to take market share away from meme coins on Solana. And this resulted in a lot less demand for Sol, since Sol is used to buy meme coins. And this contributed to Sol's poor price action. Obviously, being the chain for meme coins is a kind of double-edged sword, because even though it can result in lots of speculative inflows, a meme coin casino is also not the best look. A case in point, founders of Solana projects noted in a recent survey that the association with meme coins is one of the biggest barriers to building in the ecosystem. But that hasn't stopped them from building. Now, Solana is reportedly pushing validators to integrate Firedancer, the de facto testnet for Firedancer, a validator client that will make Solana faster and more resilient. A Solana developer also created a quantum-resistant vault for assets on Solana. As a cherry on top, Solana managed to flip both Ethereum and Base by DEX trading volume. The caveat is that most of this trading volume is believed to be coming from trading bots and the like. However, this doesn't change the fact that this trading activity fundamentally creates demand for Sol. And this brings me to the moment you've all been waiting for, and that's Sol's price action. And this is Sol on the weekly. Those trend lines are the ones we drew in the previous video. We haven't changed them at all. What's crazy is that they suggest that the recent dip to $168 was the local bottom, and a big bounce is in order. Evidence of a big bounce for Sol can be found in the aforementioned fundamentals, which are looking objectively bullish. This is the total value locked, aka TVL, in Solana's DeFi protocols. What's crazy is that it's at levels not seen since the 2021 bull market top, despite Sol's price being much lower now. Again, this suggests that there are significant inflows into Solana's ecosystem, and analytics from the Wormhole Bridge suggest that this is indeed the case. As you can see, there have been hundreds of millions of dollars of crypto flowing out of Ethereum in recent weeks, and most of that has been flowing into Solana. The caveat is the number of active wallets. According to SolScan's analytics, the number of active wallets on Solana has been in a downtrend since late November. This could be bullish though, because if the number of active wallets is declining, but TVL is rising, this suggests that crypto whales are getting positioned. And this makes perfect sense when you consider the backdrop. Besides the fact that the spot Solana ETFs are likely to get approved in the coming months, most of the top players in Trump's administration are affiliated with PayPal. David, who's a former PayPal executive, Elon Musk, who's a PayPal co-founder, and even Vice President J.D. Vance, who's known to be backed by PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel. When you remember that PayPal is looking to use Solana for payments via its PYUSD stablecoin, and realize that PayPal is one of the world's largest payment processors, you understand that Sol's sluggish price action is unlikely to last for long, and it could be sprinting by the time you see this video. Never mind that stablecoin regulations are reportedly front and center in Trump's crypto policy. And this is why we believe that Sol is probably going to be the top crypto for this cycle. And this then begs the question of, how high could it go? Well, in the short term, the charts suggest that Sol could rally somewhere in the low $300 range, say $310 to $330. By short term, we mean the next couple of months. Aside from all the pro-crypto stuff that Trump is probably already doing, the primary catalyst will probably be FTX creditor repayments, which are expected to start sometime in February and last until early March. Creditors with less than $50,000 in claims will collectively be getting $1.2 billion. That means retail, which of course means altcoins. And the fact that FTX was close with Solana suggests that a lot of this money will go into Sol. In terms of how high Sol could go in the long term, the answer is the same as it was in the previous video. We reckon that Sol will hit a cycle top of somewhere around $1,000. And this is based on several factors, mostly the theory that Sol is following ETH one cycle behind. ETH hit a market cap of around $550 billion during the last cycle. If Sol were to hit a market cap of $550 billion, that would translate to a Sol price of $1,000. In this case, the primary catalyst would likely be a combination of spot Solana ETFs being approved, stablecoin regulations being passed, and Solana becoming the de facto blockchain for stablecoin payments. Macro factors such as stimulus out of China should provide additional tailwinds as well. In case that didn't make it clear enough, Sol isn't going to hit $1,000 overnight. It's going to take at least a few months. We reckon the soonest it could happen is sometime in the summer, which is when the crypto market could top. And you'll know this if you watched our 2025 predictions video, which is over here. Anyhow, whether Sol could hit $1,000 or more ultimately depends on its upcoming milestones. Although Solana doesn't have an official roadmap, its milestones are pretty easy to figure out. The big daddy is the full launch of Firedancer, which is expected to occur sometime later this year. Solana founder Anatoly Yakovenko has mentioned in interviews that once Firedancer has fully launched and it's being used by at least 1/3 of Solana's validators, Solana will technically be complete. So yeah, it's a pretty big deal, and it's definitely the type of catalyst you'd see around a cycle top. The launch of Solana's Seeker phone sometime later this year could also be a potential top signal, as it will put Solana firmly in the spotlight, hopefully for good reasons. The last Solana phone was a bit of a slow burner, but it did expose its ecosystem to a wider group of potential users. That reminds me, in an interview last November, Anatoly said something quite fascinating. In short, he essentially said that Solana's core focus now is to compete for users. This makes sense given the backdrop. We're about to see pro-crypto regulations passed in the wealthiest country in the world. The result is going to be competition for adoption unlike any other. And it seems that the Solana team is hyper aware of this, and it wouldn't be far-fetched to say that the Memecoin mania could have been a way of putting Solana's ecosystem on everyone's radar. The next stage in that sense would be stablecoin payments. And this is where things get interesting. There are multiple payment protocols building in Solana's ecosystem. And one of these protocols is called Perina. And in a December interview, Perina founder Anna Yuan revealed just how deep Solana is getting when it comes to stablecoin payments and the like. For example, they're looking to make it possible to seamlessly switch between stablecoins when they come from the same issuer, like PYUSD and USDP, both of which are issued by Paxos. At present, this would require creating a liquidity pool for both on Solana, which is redundant and inefficient. We strongly suggest giving that interview a watch if you're interested in this kind of stuff. The link, of course, will be down below. And if you're not convinced that Solana is about to make a big pivot into the so-called PayFi, then look no further than the event the Solana Foundation did back in December. It effectively involved shopping for Christmas gifts using Shopify's Solana Pay integration and its blockchain links, aka Blinks, which makes it possible to integrate Solana's Web3 payments into Web2 platforms like Facebook and X. If you're wondering when exactly this pivot could happen, our research suggests it could be sometime in mid-February, and that's because there would be a PayFi-focused Solana event on February 17th. Then again, the event doesn't look that big, so it may end up being a nothing burger. We'll have to wait and see. One thing is for sure though, Solana needs to start focusing on more than meme coins if it wants to continue staying relevant. And this is something that Solana's other founders seem to be hyper aware of, including Raj, who seemed to hint that Deepen could be Solana's next big thing in 2025. The only problem is that Deepen is unlikely to drive demand for Sol the same way that meme coins did. And this of course brings me to the challenges that we foresee for Solana. And the first challenge is, well, competition. It's hard to put into words just how wild the crypto market is going to get when Trump's pro-crypto policies come into play. DeFi, NFTs, stablecoin payments, almost nothing will be off limits. But the key word being almost. This is going to result in extreme competition between high-performance blockchains. As a fun fact, Anatoly sees Sui and Aptos as the primary competitors to Solana due to their novel virtual machines. The same is apparently true for Coinbase's base layer 2, albeit to a slightly lesser extent since it still uses the EVM. The thing is that there are other blockchains that could jump into the ring, such as Toncoin, which is reportedly targeting the US market after a change in its leadership at the Ton Foundation. In case you missed the memo, Toncoin is used by Telegram, one of the world's most popular messaging apps. And this ties into Solana's second challenge, and that's development, namely the risk of further outages as the Firedancer client is rolled out. Some of you might recall that in our previous Solana update, we flagged the fact that there was almost an outage on Solana over the summer last year. As amusing as it is for these so-called Solana killers like Sui to have experienced outages of their own, the fact of the matter is that they've experienced far less of these than Solana. Case in point, that aforementioned survey of the biggest issues facing Solana developers included transaction congestion. If Solana tries to address these pain points while simultaneously trying to onboard millions of users with things like stablecoin payments, its blockchain could experience issues. This would result in not only users, but also developers leaving Solana's ecosystem for Sui and Base, per the aforementioned survey. With all that said though, the challenges that Solana faces pale into comparison to the advantages it has over other blockchains, most notably its accessibility and its UX. It's actually mind-blowing that the Phantom wallet flipped Coinbase in not one, but both mobile app stores. That's not something to shrug off. It's proof that Solana front-ends like Phantom are just as user-friendly, if not more user-friendly than centralized equivalents. It's safe to say that the prospect of becoming a meme coin millionaire is probably what drew people to Phantom, but this is arguably no different from speculating on altcoins on Coinbase. Solana's only challenge in this sense is how it can convince users to keep coming back when other user-friendly wallets such as Aptos's Petra start gaining traction. From our perspective, the easiest solution to this problem is to do airdrops for the crypto wallets, just like Solana did for its phones. Imagine a scenario where top crypto wallets like MetaMask and Phantom are announcing airdrops as a means of attracting users and TVL to their respective chains. This is much more likely than you might think, and it will be all but guaranteed under the right regulatory framework, creating a truly wild crypto market. To be clear, neither MetaMask nor Phantom have announced airdrops, and they've even gone out of their way to specify that they have, quote, no plans to launch a token. The catch is that no plans doesn't mean it will never happen. If other big wallets start doing it, chances are they will follow. That's a long-winded way of saying that 2025 is going to be an exciting year for crypto holders, but an even more exciting year for crypto users. And if you've never actually interacted with crypto protocols before, we strongly suggest trying it out with a small amount of capital. And there's no better place than Solana. Now, if you enjoyed that Solana update, don't forget to check out our comparison video of Solana and Sui right over here. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet already, well, you can do that right over here. That's me for now. See you next time.